but across the Delhi, there is not much sediment transportation happening. So this is the main actually Yamuna river system, and this is the Delhi area. So downstream of Delhi, the amount of sediment transportation is almost negligible. So Delhi is not only it is almost dead as a because of the water pollution or because of the very poor water quality, but also in terms of the physical processes, it is also dead.
Whenever I used to think about it, we have perennial river, but its rivers are blink at the stage and we are not managing water. We don't know how much water we are getting. We don't know basic thing. If you don't measure, you cannot manage.
Yamuna has its own blood group, it has its own flora and fauna, and certain types of plants are growing. It is so difficult for us to bring back the plants of Yamuna. I said, how will they come back? Because it does not have its own blood group. How you want me to be Neera Mishra if I don't have my own blood group?
So, good afternoon. So, in opening, I have limited comments. So, as all of us know that CWC has many gauging stations all over the Yamuna, and they are collecting data on water flow as well as quality. So, we have all the data related to, say, maximum flow, then low flows, and also we have sufficient research or guidelines what should be that environmental flow for maintaining health of the Yamuna. So, but basic thing is we require water for irrigation, domestic and industrial purpose. So, most of the Yamuna water is being diverted in the Yamuna canal system. And then Delhi part is picked at the Wazirabad. So, downstream of the Wazirabad, we have only either treated wastewater or regenerated water. So in my view, we should do manthan on two aspects. So first aspect is how to reduce our water demand so that we can reduce our diversion. The next point is how to control and monitor the quality standards of the regenerated water. So I think we should manthan on these two aspects. And then for how to use treated wastewater, so then I have presentation that I will do later.
Hello, very good afternoon. So I'm going to talk about the physical processes, and when we talk about the river that we consider river as a living being, then how to consider that, what are the factors which will govern its processes, govern its behavior, and then in our terms, in the scientific term, we call as the geomorphology, but its main thing is the appearance and behavior. If we see the river Yamuna from mountain front to up to Prayagraj, we will see that its appearances changes from place to place. So what are the reasons? What are the governing parameters are there? Why is it important to study that appearance part? Because it affects the habitat of the system, and habitat ultimately defines the health of the river system. So if our appearance or if river appearance will change, then the whole river health will change. It's same like the human being. So the human being have the different appearances, and from the appearances we try to find out what kind of processes or what kind of nature of the person is there. Same thing is there that with this kind of studies we try to understand the appearance, and then we interpret the processes and try to manage that part. So the study start with the sediment transport process. That's was the first part is there, and then ultimately reach up to the basin scale. So river is not only the conduit to transfer water, but it also transfers sediment load and nutrients that ultimately define its physical appearance, and also the nutrient transport defines the ecology part is that. I will show you five slides. It's a very brief presentation just to highlight that what are the new things we can find out, and why is it important. First thing is that this is a map of the Yamuna river system, and you can see there are the different colors. Actually, these colors indicates the different elevation. If the color is very bright, in this case the red color is there, it means the elevation is much higher. And then other part, the elevation is lower, and in the yellow part it is more moderate. It means that the river is flowing within a landscape, and landscape characteristics will affect this part. Similarly, like we human beings, we are living in the different states, those landscape also affects our behavior. That also depends. If the mountain range is very steep, then the sediment supply will be higher and the river will appear differently. If the mountain is not that steep, sediment supply will be low. These are the natural factors, the topography, geology, weak rock, hard rock, or in the climate. But nowadays the major challenge is that how the human impacts are going to affect. And then the second part is that our curve, which indicates the population has increased in the last four decades, and you can see around 5 million years to very close to 20 million years population is there. And as morning it was discussed that only 2% of the Yamuna crosses Indraprasth area or from the Delhi NCR region, but it makes a significant impact. Now, what is the significant impact? One thing is, of course, it affects the water quality. Second thing is also affect the processes, and that we will see. In general, when we move from upstream to downstream along a river channel, then amount of water increases in the river because of the base flow contribution coming from the groundwater component and also the tributary contribution. If you see the Yamuna river at the mountain front, that's a plot. On the y-axis is the peak discharge data set, which has been analyzed through the flood frequency plot. So if you can see that first there is a drawdown is there. It is not natural. It should increase like what is happening. So for the downstream of Etawah, it is increasing because there is a more component, more water joins from Chambal, Betwa and Kane. But here it is not a natural process because this interference of the humans are playing an important role. Now, how important is that interference or this particular drawdown is there? That part is there, and what are the driving forces in there? Why it is decreasing? So one thing is we all know there are the barrages from Hattikund, and then there are these three different barrages are there, Wazirabad, Okhla, and then another one in Delhi is there. That affects the thing. But second thing is also the groundwater contribution. At morning, our honorable minister has suggested that we should see the river not only just on the water, but also see the interaction of river and groundwater. You have to see the river in a three-dimension view. And this particular slide actually highlights this part. These are some of the field observations which we have done. So you can see that wherever the blue color indicates the river water level and this dotted line indicates the groundwater level. And these are some of the places, Yamunanagar, Bagpat, Karnal areas is there, which have been plotted here. So wherever river water is higher, it will contribute the water to the groundwater, or wherever groundwater is higher, like here groundwater is higher, it will contribute to the river. So we call this kind of river as the gaining river, and then another kind of river system, like in this case Karnal, we call as the losing streams are there. Losing streams lose their water. So qualitatively we have seen at some of the places the Yamuna is a gaining stream, some of the places it is a losing stream. Naturally it should behave like a gaining stream in this alluvial plain area, but that only gives a qualitative statement. Next state is that we go for some other proxies, some other data set, and one of the very standard data, the method is that you analyze the stable isotope within the water. You analyze the oxygen isotope and then the hydrogen isotopes, your data set, develop the equation, and then you can quantify that how much water we are losing or river is losing to groundwater or gaining from the groundwater. So based on the data set, I will not go into the detail of methodology, that will be discussed further. But if you see the output, which is showing that at the just close to the mountain front, because the gravel material is there, so river loses its water, around 56% of the water it is losing, which is expected. But then it is more or less gaining or stable things are there. 4 and 2% is not a major thing. But once it reaches in Delhi, there is a significant amount of loss is there. It start from Palla and all the way up to this part, and reach 10, which is in Noida, it is started gaining in the system. So it is not only the barrage impact is there, but it's the groundwater extraction which is also playing a very important role in defining the water health and defining the ultimately the river health passes there. So that is one aspect, that there are the different processes which may be invisible, but it affects the river system, and if we have to manage the river system, we have to also tap the invisible processes part. Second aspect is the impact. So these are just, these two slides are there. So impact is that once the water will reduce, then action of river will reduce. Action of river is sediment transportation or sediment erosion part is there. This plot is showing the sediment transportation process. On the y-axis is the sediment transport load, which we have get from the Central Water Commission. And these are the different stations plotted from mountain front to we have very close to the Allahabad area. So you can see that This number 2 is the Delhi region is there. So there is some amount of sediment is coming, and these east plots indicating the different year periods. If we take an average, it has been plotted as a dark blue line, which is the average picture is there. So what it shows that there's some amount of sediment is coming from the Himalaya, then more amount of suspended load gas eroded from the Delhi area, which is mainly from the construction site and the agricultural sites is there. But across the Delhi, there is not much sediment transportation happening. So this is the main actually Yamuna river system, and this is the Delhi area. So downstream of Delhi, the amount of sediment transportation is almost negligible. And today morning also there was a discussion that lots of siltation is going on. That is there because there is not much of the water going into the system. It is not able to transport the sediment. Then ultimately it increases once the Chambal and Betwa river joins, and then we are getting a major flux in the sediment load. So because of these things, it is not able to carry its major main function or the main physical process, which is the sediment transport process there. So Delhi is not only, it is almost dead as because of the water pollution or because of the very poor water quality, but also in terms of the physical processes, it is also dead. It is not able to do its work. So, or like in the in this brochure, it is mentioned that Yamuna in Delhi is in ICU. So it is in ICU not only in terms of the water quality, but also in terms of the physical processes it is not able to do. So we have to provide that amount of water, that is the environmental flow. Our Honorable Minister has suggested this morning that we have to estimate the part. We did some basic calculations, and it shows that around 30 to 40% water is required by the river itself, and where we are losing almost 0% of water in the Delhi areas there. So these kind of things, these kind of bargaining we have to do, that which is more important, river is more important or our daily life is there, and how to make the balance. These kind of things will come with the understanding of those physical processes part. Sediment transport, if we further increase these things, then the river, the appearance comes, and this is my last slide I will highlight. So if you see the river, then along the river, there are the number of different sandy patches are there. These are called bars. These are actually lifeline for the biodiversity in a river system. If you have to maintain biodiversity in a river system, these bars are also important. Then there is a floodplain outside the channel, which is again very important. And many times you have seen in the newspaper that NCT has put fine, or there are lots of news about the floodplain management, because these are very important for the biodiversity. Here I am only talking about within channel processes part is there. Floodplain is altogether different research topic. So you can see that the percentage of this area, of the bar area, that we have calculated, and then this has been plotted as a green bar here. So from mountain front towards the Delhi area, the green bars are decreasing, which is expected because this amount of slope is going to decrease. And then, but downstream of Delhi, there is almost nothing is happening in the system because river is very close to die. And then it again gets rejuvenated. So we have defined the river into three different settings. One is the natural reach is there from mountain front to Delhi area is there. But from Delhi to Mathura or Agra region, it is anthropogenically disturbed or very close to the dead river. And then it again gets rejuvenated. So the challenge area is this. It is not near Prayagraj that there is a major challenge, and in the Kumbh also there is a lots of water was coming to the Prayagraj, but there was a significant amount of contusion is there. So that shows that the major challenge is there from Delhi to Mathura regions, because there is a water supply has reduced, the sediment transportation has been reduced about the percentage of bar, that is the appearance of the river system. And then appearance are nothing but the habitat for the biodiversity, and if the habitat will change, then the biodiversity will also disappear, and that is what is happening in the system. Not only the water quality, but the disturbance to habitat is also a major thrust or major impact on to the river biodiversity. Hence river health is a major problem is there. This is one aspect. Second aspect, very briefly I will highlight, this is the sediment mining which is going on part. This is again there in the newspaper. Actually rivers brings lots of sediment, but what is needed to have an understanding what is the equilibrium in the system, how much sediment is coming to that given reach or how much sediment will be transported. If we extract some amount of sediment from the reach is fine, it will maintain the equilibrium. But if we will extract more amount of sediment, it will disturb the equilibrium, and then everything will be disturbed in this part. And that is what is happening based on some of the analysis which is going on in these regions. And this is the last slide, is just to show that what is happening where the river, this light blue color is the Yamuna river, and then dark blue color is the Chambal River. It looks like the Yamuna is tributary to the Chambal. This is because in the Delhi area we have affected in such a way that that the main Yamuna River looks like a only very minor tributary of the Chambal part is that. So, so these are the things where the appearance are changing, that behavior because of the change in behavior. That's where the water sediment relationships are there, and what we talk in terms of the hydrology morphology relationship that needs to be understood, because it's a non-linear and complex relationship, and that is one of the research part is there. I will end my talk with this major things is there, that Delhi NCR region is making a significant impact not only on the water quality, which is well known, but also in terms of the sediment transportation and the physical processes part is there. And to work out with the management application, we have to understand the groundwater dynamics in the system. Only with the surface water is not going to produce, because there is no water, and we have to provide water to the river system to maintain the things. And the river science is nowadays a multidisciplinary science, and that's why in the fresher there are the different researchers are working who are working on the different aspect. In fact, more and more such kind of diversification is needed to get a sustainable management of the river part. Okay, thanks. I will finish there.
Thank you, Professor Jain. Now I would request Sri Karnagar Reddy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much, Neera Madam, for the great opportunity on a need of our subject in a flagship institute in India, IIT Delhi. Myself, Karunakar Reddy, I am a founder of organization called Igniting Minds. Hopefully you read Dr. Kalam books, Wings of Fire, Igniting Minds. Okay. So Igniting Minds is born with an idea of Dr. Kalam. With the Vision 2020, when Dr. Kalam was before president, he given a vision of the country, the Vision 2020. So then later he became a president, and it became a famous about what exactly the country is going to be, our natural resources and all. Then I was part of this Pura project, providing urban facilities in rural areas. I came from South India, Hyderabad. A lot of people may know about Hyderabad city. So before my presentation start, so I will ask, let us, we are taking so much knowledge from morning onwards in this flagship initiative or institute. Meera Madam is doing wonderful things since last 22 years and all. Can we talk about what we are doing in our life on a daily basis? So, few questions. How many of us know what is the average annual rainfall in Delhi? Do we know that how much rain we get? Because morning honorable minister said, ना देने वाला देवता होता है. So देवता से हमारा को कितना पानी मिलता है? Do we have an idea? Yeah, approximately 800 millimeters average annual rainfall in Delhi. So what is happening now? I am going, we started an initiative called Water Talks and Climate Action Campus Talks. When I am going to the institutes and all these things, the basic things they are missing. So when we go to basically when we go to a convent school or any foundation of our education, first they'll do, okay, so Saraswati Namostobhyam, or otherwise you can write an ABCD and all this thing. So we are talking so much Gyan, but basic things we are ignoring or we are missing. That's why I'm asking that, do we know how much water we get from rain? So it is average annually around 800 mm. So do we know that our area where we are living, like maybe it in an apartment or maybe in our home or something like this, do we calculate how much rainfall at my place, like where is my residence, what is the roof area, so how much water I can get? So a lot of people doesn't know. So every square meter in Delhi, you have a capacity of water, rainwater free from the devta se jo pani aata hai na, it is 800 liters. So normally it is approximately Indian homes and all this thing, normally approximately 200 square meter area will be there. So 200 square meter area, you have a capacity to receive from rain approximately 160,000 liters. So do we know what is the norm of per capita per day water utility? How many people know that how much water we need for our daily utility or government given a norm. एक आदमी के लिए कितना पानी चाहिए पीने के लिए, नहाने के लिए और कपड़े धोने के लिए और टॉयलेट फ्लश करने के लिए? Do you know? There is a norm. It is a 200 LPCD in urban area. Urban area means because in a rural area you will have a less water requirement. Urban area, because of our lifestyle and all this thing, we use most of the time not taps, pressures and all this thing. It is a 200 LPCD. 200 liter per candidate per day is a requirement of water approximately. That is what. So if you calculate 200 liter per person at your home, 160,000 liters of water availability, probably normally in a family, how many people we are going to be? Normally, आपका घर में कितना लोग होता है? 4. Mother, father, 2 kids. If you have any guests and all this, 4 people maximum. So, what is, we are talking about problem. We never think about the solutions. Solutions are very simple, easy solutions. Where I came from, I born in a bank of Krishna river. Okay, we are talking about Yamuna river now. I born just bank of Krishna river, which is one of the most drought-prone area in the country. It is called Mahbub Nagar. Okay, whenever I used to think about it, we have perennial river, but its rivers are blink at the stage and we are not managing water. We don't know how much water we are getting. We don't know basic thing. If you don't measure, you cannot manage. Simple. So what we started in with the idea of Dr. Kalam, so we started with a campaign called Save Water and Restore Ecological Balance. So एक बूंद छोटे छोटे डिप होता है ना एक टैप में और इवन हमारा टॉयलेट फ्लशिंग एरिया में लाइट लीकेज होता है स्मॉल लीकेज वी इग्नोर इट सो दैट स्मॉल बूंद नदी बहता है ऐसा बोलता है ना तो स्मॉल थिंग्स वी डोंट कंसीडर वील थिंक ना छोटा ही है ना होने देना जाने देना ऐसा करते हैं okay another interesting question because I am asking more and more questions because a lot of people are thinking that okay I'm just basic ideas need to be know how many people eat rice every day eat rice wheat and all this thing do we know 1 kilogram of rice how much water required to grow 1 kilogram of rice it is required 7,500 liters approximately if you waste if whatever people we are here now we had a lunch okay putting all together our lunch will be waste approximately 1 kg of rice quantity we wasted 7,500 liters of water which we don't know if you eat even burger and all this thing I will tell a table and all this thing it is going to be a big history what I'm saying we are forgetting our basics like traditions or whatever today morning we are talking about Vedas Upanishads okay so all these things we are forgetting our base roots okay we think that okay we are luxury people we are flushing and nowadays we are having so much very sophisticated equipments are coming okay what you call this pressure jets so much water purification okay we are using reverse osmosis rain water purifiers at home every home I think everybody having in Delhi especially I know every home have a must you may not even have an air conditioner but you have a water purifier which is reverse osmosis you know every liter of water if you are going to purify approximately 5 liters water is getting waste 5 liters 1 liter of water whatever you are filtering 5 liters of water wasting everybody are you agreeing with me or not so let us think about some kind of consciousness so we talk about even our professor talk about our Vedas Upanishads are saying that okay the day one when the Adi Purusha or whatever the day one when this world is formed from that day to till today the same quantity of water there is no difference it is not increased we may get floods from somewhere we may be drought somewhere otherwise but entire cycle okay there is a physics this thing there is energy cannot be destroyed or created it is only change the form of this thing like water maybe it is in a gaseous form or it may be in liquid form it may be in a solid form or something like that water is the same quantity till today but why we are facing so much problem what is the reason why we are talking about climate change why we are talking about global warming What is happening in and around? Why we are not able to breathe in Delhi? Okay, I go anywhere, a different part of the world. People say that, okay, your country is most polluted capital city, Delhi. And people says, if you want to stay in Delhi, you try to give a sacrifice 10 years of your life. People say this like, if you stay in Delhi, you are going to reduce your lifetime of minimum 10 years. Every time air quality index, it is always red, this thing. There is no ambient air quality. Why? What is the problem? Do we understand what we are contributing for a positive thing? So, what we are listening, we are worrying about, can we do myself? Can I do something? How many of us having the rainwater harvesting structures know about rainwater harvesting structure? Having a rainwater harvesting structure in your workplace or at your home, how many of them? Only 1, 2, 3. So, less. So, what is the lies here? What we are preaching is not practicing. Whatever gyan we are taking from here, let us implement from today. How many of you planted a tree? Very good, great. So, why we need to plant a tree? देता है ना, ऑक्सीजन फ्री में देता. कोरोना के टाइम में we understand, okay, one of my boss, DRDO, some of them are professors DRDO, they are built within 1 week 1,000 bedded hospital. They made every day 100 plus oxygen generation plants and all these things. When we are getting oxygen at free of cost from the trees, are we really know about how much a tree give an oxygen? So these all are as the basic needs we need to know more about, and whatever gyan we are taking, can we implement? I will give you one good offer for you people. If you are going to plant a tree whenever, on behalf of, I will also plant a tree for you for your purpose. I am doing this. What we did, we started rainwater harvesting, Gyan Lena, whatever pledge we have taken. Now, this pledge is started 12 years back. We made millions of people to be part of this water taking pledge, not just pledge. We are calculating. Even though till today, we are saving every year 3.5 TMC annually, trillion meter cubes liter every year by just doing rainwater. What are we doing? A lot of people buying containers and water tankers. Okay, our volunteer, we have approximately all over India 13,000 plus volunteers. Okay, Kalam Center, Kalam Sena, what we have. So it is very simple. We are saying that if you whatever purchase 3 containers, 3 tankers of water, with the same amount, you can build rainwater harvesting structure at your home, if it is your small home. If it is a bigger home, even number of plants and all these things. Only very less cost we can implement rainwater harvesting. And if you start this thing, your burden will be, government will become less. Because in urban area, there is so much big, water is like just like a what you call ocean, bigger than ocean, this subject. Okay, so what is happening if you start conserving water? It is only very less amount, it is not very expensive, it is not rocket science, it is very common sense kind of this thing, very simple activity which we need to be implement. So my presentation is ready right now. So what is this thing, water crisis in South Asia and current responses? What is happening especially in South Asia? Okay, we all know the water is basic, the Amrut. Okay, once upon a time we heard about in this morning, Vedas and Upanishads, Devi Devata used to drink Amruta. Okay, this modern days Amruta, without water we cannot expect any day or something like that. Not even for a few hours we cannot stay without water. Maybe if we be fasting and all this thing, while sleeping only we don't drink water. Otherwise every time we need water. So we know that, okay, living organisms, not only humans, everybody is required water. Okay, so we all talk about glaciers and atmospheres and all these things. Okay, so this is the water. So what I talk about you about at your home, कितना पानी आपका घर में मिलेगा देवता से यानी रेन वाटर से, आपको मालूम है दुनिया में कितना पानी है? How much water around the globe? We all know that 1/3 of the globe is filled with water, but how much water? This is the percentage, the world water total. And if you see the second drop, the smaller drop is a pure form of water. The total water is 100 liters, 97 liters of saline water, 3 liters is only a potable water. Out of 3 liters, less than 700 ml, okay, is useful for a human consumption or whatever utility. Remaining all are glaciers and all these things. So very little quantity of water, you cannot even see that very small drop, you can see that. This is what we have a water, which we can be accessible or consumable purpose. So recently, what we are talking about, water crisis around the world. But around the world, probably some places we are right now in South India is already we have an extreme weather conditions like yesterday Hyderabad were around 34-35 degree temperature. Delhi is not even reached in the peak summer. So if it is in Delhi, sometimes extreme peak summer, sometimes extreme peak winter kind of this thing will be there. So what is happening? Over-pumping aquifers. We have a highest over-pumping. This is the area we are pumping highest water. From the groundwater depletion or water crisis and all this thing, India is in a red mark. So as per Niti Aayog says that 54% of the Indian population, it is MIT report, Composite Water Management Index 2018, Niti Aayog is given a report that 54% or 660 million people doesn't have a water access. Forget about safe water and all these things. Okay, if you are we are lucky or you are enough good lucky enough, you are getting pumping from different sources and you can getting a tap. So if you go to the rural area, like go to my village or my district, like in Maharashtra and all this, you may see last time. Okay, so long back, there was a drought in Maharashtra that water used to go on taken into wagons, okay, train tankers and all this thing. That is the importance. So one of the, in last approximately 14 years back, there was a Vodafone selected me because I am a water hero. I got decorated so many different kind of awards and accolades. They invited me, okay, you are solving so much big problem. Okay, then how can we take into next level? I will show you a video here.
Water, air, energy and waste management solutions in India and across the globe. I'd like to invite on stage Mr. Karunakara Reddy. He's the founder and CMD.
Smart India are pioneers in providing water, air, energy and waste management solutions using the latest state-of-the-art technology at an affordable cost.
See, Smart India is into end-to-end water and wastewater solutions. Especially we are focusing eco-friendly, user-friendly, non-chemical, affordable technologies which we can be able to address the basic problem and essential need of this country. So I observed food for water is the basic and it is going to be an important role in the day-to-day life of a common man. So I've seen that I want to have a sustainable solution for this day-to-day life, especially in a rural area.
With more than 15,000 water, waste treatment and purification plants across pan-India and the globe, Smart India has proven their worth in a global playing field.
Let's go over to the panel for some questions that you would have for him.
Yeah, I have a question. So where are you present now? Is it only in Andhra Pradesh or are you present across other parts of the country?
Pan-India and also my products are working in 33 countries.
So, Mr. Reddy, do you have any questions for our panel?
Yeah. Only one question for all the 5 people. See, that's in India, we are losing approximately 79 million man-hours, which is a very big number. Every day we are losing 1,600 people just because of waterborne diseases. Okay, I am unable to reach because India 1 million villages like my village. Okay, 80+% people doesn't have safe drinking water. And plus other things like sanitation and all these things, we have a lot. So, only one question, anyone say, give me some best advice. How can I reach? I just reach only 3,000 communities.
How can he take the company, how can he take his product to the rest of India?
We have I don't have any experience in understanding the problem of water, but definitely we work in the area of sanitation. And I can tell you one thing, a lot of problems are definitely causing, like you said, they are clearly leading to deaths in villages. But when we go deep into the villages, we realize that people actually don't relate a death of a child to the water problem. Experts like you or the health experts might believe it, but that linkage is not really clear. Yeah, a lot of people. Unless you create that particular linkage.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So after this, people are going to the institutions and all this thing, asking young people, come forward, become a social entrepreneur, because when we go and give a solution, sustainable, affordable, bottom of the pyramid, people are affordable, and this is going to be create an employment. Not only employment, it is an entrepreneur kind of opportunity. That's why from that time onwards now, we are going everywhere, every institute, wherever we go, and this is an opportunity, social opportunity. One thing, you are going to solve a problem, biggest problem. Another thing, it is in an entrepreneurial opportunity. That's what we are talking about, these things. So if it is water is less, what is the problem? Okay, it is not just not water, and it is not only impacting our day-to-day life. It is going to be impact entire ecosystem, entire circular system. This is the biggest problem which we are going to be faced. So if less water, you will have a more people requirement, crops required, energy required, industry required, animals, everybody is required water. If it is temperature rises, these all are going to be have an impact. So this is the condition in our villages. In a rural area, if you see that India faces water crisis and all this thing, 16 acres of land have been salinization. Another, this thing is a desertification is happening, increasing year by year, just because of increasing of temperature, and also not only temperature, flood and disaster, top soil, 3-inch, 4-inch soil is going to be completely getting eroded. Okay, this is a problem which is seen in directly in Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, everywhere you can see thousands of the farmers have committed suicides. This is the Niti Aayog report. And you see even in Delhi, headlines. Last year we seen that, okay, in headlines, every media paper says that in headlines, okay, Delhi is having so much water problem and all these things. And a lot of things are happening, even a lot of places, governments are getting changed. Okay, internal wars in between colonies, in between states, in between countries. And this is going to be biggest civil war. Third World War is only going to be on water. This is what we are going to see in the headlines. If we only face the problem, what about the natural other animals, other living beings? Like animals, we see that now a lot of animals are coming to the human habitats. Okay, in Assam, every day in, day out, every human-animal conflict is there. Even in Telangana, we have a monkeys problem. So many problems are this thing. So what we required, we need to have a solution from the day one. How much water we are consuming, how responsibly we are living, how consciously we are responding to the world. This is the important thing which we are planning and we are educating. So this is one of the video which you see in the Kashmir.
श्रीनगर में पानी कम होने लगा है। इसी के साथ शुरू हो गई है जिंदगी की जद्दोजहद। सबसे बड़ी मुश्किल है पीने के पानी की।
श्रीनगर में जिस तरीके से लोगों के पास पीने का पानी भी नहीं है, तो वहीं एक पहल की है मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ ड्रिंकिंग वाटर ने। जो गंदा पानी है यहाँ पर, जो पाइप आप देख रहे हैं, इस पाइप को डाला गया है नीचे। यहाँ पे ये जो नहर है, यहाँ के पानी को यूज किया जा रहा है और यहाँ के पानी को पंप के जरिए ऊपर लिया जा रहा है। और ऊपर लेने के बाद यहाँ पर जो इन लोगों ने अपना एक टैंक लगा रखा है, इस टैंक में मशीन लगा रखी है जिससे पानी को पूरी तरीके से प्योरीफाई किया जाए और उसे पीने लायक बनाया जाए।
ये मोबाइल वाटर ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट लगाया, ये 1 घंटे में 4000 लीटर प्योर ड्रिंकिंग वाटर देता है। तो ये लोग डायरेक्ट पी सकता है। तो ये पानी का स्थिति ऐसी होता है। तो ये जो पानी ये है, इस पानी को लेके हम लोग ने इस तरीके का सा पानी आ रहा है। तो ये अभी 24 जगह में, 24 प्लेसेस में हम लोग ने, 24 प्लेसेस में हम लोग ने इसको ये किया है। ये तुरंत अभी आपको लगाने से तुरंत आपको जैसा साफ करके देता है। तो ये 1 लाख लीटर एक दिन में आपको पानी दे रहा है।
उससे आप लोगों को मदद मिल रही है, पीने का पानी मिल रहा है।
बहुत मदद मिल गया है, बहुत मदद मिल गया।
गंदा पानी।
Okay, so what I'm saying that is, whoever want to be part of this thing, so what we are asking them to just connect with us. Let us make this planet Earth again livable, more greener and more sustainable. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Reddy. Now I would request Madam Mishra to share her thoughts for the audience and the panel here.
Thank you, Professor Shri Krishnanji. And to be a little more on the dharmic side, I think Shri Krishna chose you to be the chair for this session and take forward the vision for Yamuna that we have been discussing today. My thoughts are, of course, there in the brochure that I have written. In the last about 11, 12 years that we started working for the rivers per se, we realized something very, very critical, and that is that we have, as the minister was saying, disconnected with our natural systems of management of our natural resources. So when I studied the river Yamuna, and thankfully I was invited to Saraswati conference just now, and I actually physically went and saw how Saraswati work is being done. We all know that we have had rivers for thousands of years. Now, this thousands of years of their sustenance has been basically, for my little understanding, because I've both been a science student and then I went into history. So, four basic things. One is the river, like a human body, we need our own blood group to be healthy. Like our body, we need our arteries to be clean to avoid heart attacks and to fall ill. And like a human body needs social sustenance, social support to be able to be socially and mentally and emotionally happy, because emotional health is also health. Now let's see the river, Yamuna. How Yamuna is 1,376 kilometers. Till 1948, it is mentioned in our books that the Britishers were ferrying passengers and goods from Kolkata to Delhi. And the river was navigable. And even till about 30 years ago, when I came to Delhi, we could see the original flora and fauna of Yamuna in the Yamuna belt. So when we're talking about the original flora and fauna, we're also saying, as Dr. Shashi had said, that there is a certain iconographic representation of Yamuna in our text, and she is represented with a tortoise. Like Ganga is represented with that alligator, right? Now, so what does Yamuna has that time Yamuna had its own blood group. What is its own blood group? That is its original source of water that is coming from the Kalindri hills. Secondly, its arteries. Now, its arteries were clean because it was flowing with force. It was flowing with so much force that even the pebbles on the way would actually, that is the natural system of the river, they would break down into sand. And that sand also was so light that because of the force of the that was called the E-flow, was so good that it just moved on and on. Because of that E-flow, it was having clean, smooth, because water, whenever it is running, it will never gather moss. That is a very common thing. Rolling stones gather no moss. We all know that. Now, the third thing is that we had a very interesting system of as a social system for the river. What was the social system for river? Because water, as he said, is critical for every aspect of life. Water and air are very critical. We had ponds, we had wells in every home, in every village, in every locality, and there is not a single mandir or there was not a single institute of Gurukul which did not have these wells for water. Not only for their own requirement, but that was a system that water is required for the underground nourishment. And as he said, that water is connected. And because of these three systems, there was this earth nourishment, which was again sustaining the river, and then the flora and fauna developed. Now, because Yamuna has its own blood group. It has its own flora and fauna, and certain types of plants are growing. Now, my thoughts started on this line, to be very honest. I don't want to be critical of the government, but they made a biodiversity park. I visited that park. In that park, I was explained that, madam, it is so difficult for us to bring back the plants of Yamuna. I said, how will they come back? Because it does not have its own blood group. How you want me to be Neera Mishra if I don't have my own blood group? And they are not able to sustain it. So they are just doing something. So the main issue of Yamuna is those 3-4 factors that are needed for a healthy human being is equally important for a sustainable river system. Now, what happened, as I said, that till 1948 it was very good. In 1948, the first plan was made by the government to create a dam. And believe you me, a foreign scholar writes in a book called Yamuna, the River of Love, that they were shocked that you are getting independence, but you are stopping the independence of your own rivers. And not only taking little bit. I mean, we are so greedy. We are so greedy that everything and anything is for our use. And he analyzes it. I'm not going to criticize any thought process, any theology, but the fact is, this person from America writes that it was the Western concept, and he uses the word Christian theology, that against which they were protesting, the conservatives, they were protesting, that we cannot use nature as a piece of commodity. We have to live in tune with nature, and this is exactly what we did. Now, when the first dam came, almost 80 to 90% water was used for making power. Okay, that time we understood that the population was less and there was no other power system. So it was like sustaining for a few decades. But as population increased and the demand increased, no alternative sources were found. People were just saying, oh, this is free. No, anything that comes free has no value. So God gives us free, everything. Air is free. You said, no, water, air is free, water is free. So we don't value it. And that is why these systems, these customs, if you analyze that each system of our traditional rituals is connected with the nature. We celebrate with the nature. So when Yamuna is dammed there, then what happens? It comes down. Then something very interesting happened. There was this big concept thrown on us that, why are you growing rice only in Bengal and Kerala? Why can't you grow rice in Punjab? And so we need water. So where do we get? Oh, we have the river. No? So they created a canal at Tejawala, the eastern canal and the western canal, and they started diverting water to grow rice. So that was the greed, that humko ye bhi chahiye, ye bhi chahiye, ye bhi chahiye. Not realizing that every area has its own topographical strengths, and we should live with that variety. So it was stopped there. By the time he talked of Hathni Kund, when it comes to Hathni Kund, it's a very pathetic state. Till then, the river is clean. Here starts the devastation of the river, because Delhi takes away all the water goes to Delhi Jal Board. Very few people would know that all water goes to Delhi Jal Board. The Delhi Jal Board uses, I don't know how much water it gives to people and how much it gives to tanker people, tanker mafia, we don't know. But these are practical things we have to bring out to the notice of the people, that management of every household consumption is very important. Unless you know how much is being consumed, how would you plan for water? But there was no such thing done. It was just blindly, okay, just take this, take this, take this. And then I think it was early 90s, they decided that, the river is dying. What do we do? Unless there is water, it will be dead. So let's throw some water. Where to get the water? We have so much of sewage water coming. No problem. We'll put sewage plants and we'll put that water. Assessment says not even 75% of the sewage plants are efficient. And then all the factories started coming. And 10 years ago, all the factories that Srimati Sheila Dikshit had banned and moved to Bhavana, they were given permission to start. That is why you see this deterioration in the last 10 years is horrible. So 98% pollution. Now this pollution keeps moving and the river is static. Actually, it's not flowing. It stinks. You go near the river, it stinks. It is not a river because there's not one drop of river water in the river. So our suggestion has been, as I said in the panel discussion, that if we can do two things at least, even if we have to request the government to increase the e-flow, the problem with the river in Delhi is it does not have the holding capacity because it is so much filled with sewage. Now this water, if this water I have to take, if so much is filled with so much of sewage, if I put water here, I can't take much. If I take more, it will spill over. So that is why even when the rains come, the river cannot hold it. Then we have taken away all her, river banks. We have taken away the plains, all the, the area that is, it was her own area we have taken away. So the solution is I think it's a simple solution if we forget the cost. And because, yes, we need water for drinking, that is first priority. We need water for food, that is also first priority. Everything is first priority. Without food, we are nothing. How do we manage water then? So my suggestion has been that number one, when you read the Ganga Avtaran story, it's very interesting. We did a Ganga program, 3 days Ganga conference. It is explained that Sagar king started this concept of creating the river channel, and for 5 generations, they worked on creating a channel of the river right from the top till Sagar. Because they said if we stop somewhere and the water comes, it will spill over. So we have to find a path that it goes to the river. So that means the river has a channel. This channel, maybe Yamuna channel is natural. But if that natural channel is got back, restored to its original depth, how do we do that? Simple. We continuously clean and do not fill it with dirt. It's a simple thing. I mean, it's common sense. I don't know why the people could not think about this. So we have to first increase the depth of because they're talking of, there is water needed. We need dams to store water. I said, yes, you may need, somebody came with a plan saying, let's make rubber dams across the river. I said, my God, that water will be full of filth. Because the rubber dams, if the water is there, again, it's not a flowing water. Water is good only if it's flowing. So one is increase the depth of the river channel so that once the depth is increased, 2 things will happen. Then we can put pressure on the government. Please increase the e-flow of the river so that it gets sufficient pressure to keep moving and not to be static and keep moving all the dirt. Second thing is when the rains come, it will have an holding capacity. So come back to natural systems, and I think where IIT is very, very critical. And that's why I was very keen that we have professors here, that they have to put their brains together, because I think you have to also get involved with some geologists also, because we have to know what is the maximum depth to which we can go and clean the river, because now they have spoiled it so much that we don't even know what is the natural depth of the river. So once that natural depth, secondly, a very good example here from Hyderabad. 2 examples that have come up recently for water saving. In Haryana, they have created the first Pool Authority of India, Ponds Authority of India. That means they are mapping all the old existing talabs and kuas, and they are encouraging where there is no kuah and talab to create kuah and talab, because it needs that social system. River needs that social system to keep itself sustainable. And Hyderabad has a very, very good law, which we need to implement in Delhi very much. Delhi people think that because they're in the capital, they can do what they want. I'm sorry, but I've been here 30 years and I've seen this, and it's really pathetic that they should be the most concerned and they should be leading lights to the nation in terms of doing sustainable water management. So they have a law that if any house is built, whether it is a colony or an individual, you will get a occupation certificate only if you have a water harvesting system in your place. In a way, you either have a kuan or a talab or whatever. Water harvesting, names nahi there. We are giving new nomenclatures, but the concept is same. Because we also had, those are all water harvesting system. Ponds are water harvesting, wells are water harvesting. So one is these two good examples, and as I said, Haryana has this, and they have this law. Delhi needs these two plus. I think the whole nation, especially starting from Delhi, the Delhi DDA, whatever it's called, DDA, Delhi Development Authority, they should ensure that every household, whether it is multi-storied or it is one single house, should have water meters. Because I have seen in my own colony, there are people who are washing 10 cars with one drinkable water. And people are dying without water. And we have no idea about the consumption of water in Delhi. If you don't have an idea about what is the requirement, how will you plan for the requirement? So Delhi needs to have these three important things immediately. So we had suggested to the government, when I met the Minister of Jal Shakti, to create a separate board for Yamuna, because so far Yamuna has got a stepsister treatment. Because it comes under the Ganga plan. Okay, it is good that all the rivers are fine, all rivers taken care of. But when Yamuna is getting so neglected, and it is such an important national river. So first is, I think we also need to get our rivers declared as living beings. Till we call them living beings, we will not be able to sustain them. And there we come to living beings, we come to the concept of Vasudeva Kutumbakam that we talk about. Vasudeva Kutumbakam is just not that the whole world, men and women are our people. It means that every part of nature from which we come, the Faj Tattva, from which every part of comes in different forms, they are our own. They are our relations because they sustain us. They are a part of our life because without them, our life is not complete. So these are my general remarks, but I would like actually each one to really give opinion on these aspects, that how do we take this forward to get the river back, because aap log engineers ho. So suggestion was for irrigation, let all sewage water be transferred for irrigation and Yamuna water be left only for consumption of humans.